What's up, y'all? It's Alexiana. Welcome to the Lexi Show. Now, bro, let me tell you something. If you know me in real life, or you've been following me for a while and stuff like that, then you know one of my first jobs and stuff like that was working fast food. I used to work at McDonald's up here in Sylvester, Georgia. And let me tell you, honey, there were boatloads of people that used to come to that restaurant that at the time I had went to school with that I necessarily didn't like and stuff like that. But the thing about it is, I will never dislike anyone enough to spit in their food. Even if I had an STD, which I don't. I do not have no STDs. I'm clean as a whistle. But even if I had an STD or something like that, like I said, which I don't, I still would not dislike somebody enough to spit in their food. And why do I say that? It's because I heard about a story ages ago that even when I told my mother and my sister, they was disgusted. I heard a story ages ago that I'm about to get into about a girl that lived in Oklahoma. There's a girl that worked at an Arby's and stuff like that that disliked her so much to the point where she spit in her food, and get this, sis ended up giving her herpes because of it, bro. Like, oh my God, bro, like that shit is nasty, bro. It's one thing you spit in her food, but the fact she contracted STD because of it, like, that shit is just disgusting, dog. That shit is disgusting on so many levels. I'm gonna read about it, and then we're gonna play some videos and we're gonna have a discussion. This is from ATM_news on Instagram. I'm going to insert the Instagram handle over here. It says, Jenica Church of Broken Bow, Oklahoma, said she stopped by Arby's after a long night of bartending, ordered sandwiches, and went home to eat them with her grandparents-in-law. After eating the food, her lips began to flare up. She went to the hospital and was diagnosed with herpes. Broken Bow being a small town, Jenica's daughter heard that Amanda Hendricks, the Arby's manager at the time, was bragging to people that she had spit in Jenica's food that night. Jenica revealed she had a little history with Amanda, but nothing major. Police said they pulled the cameras and saw Amanda spitting in the food that night. She has now been fired and charged with felony food poisoning. Jenica Church and her family are also suing Amanda Hendricks and Arby's over the ordeal. Now we're going to watch some videos and we're going to have a discussion.
Bartending, Jenica Church stopped at Arby's in Broken Bow. It had taken a little bit of time. Thought they were probably mad at me because it was right about to close. Jenica said she had some history with Amanda Hendricks, the manager, but nothing major. She went home, ate, and shared sandwiches with her father-in-law and grandmother-in-law. Jenica, her husband, the kids, and the grandparents all lived together. After that night, Jenica's mouth began to flare up like it never had before. The doctor diagnosed her with herpes.
Several times a week, I get a flare-up. It goes all the way up to the top of my eye twitches. I mean, it's very painful.
You're probably wondering, how could she possibly connect herpes to Arby's? But in McCurtain County, a former Arby's manager is charged with felony poisoning, accused of spitting in a woman's food. Broken Bow is a small town. Jenica says Amanda Hendricks was bragging about spitting in her sandwiches that night. And Jenica's daughter heard the story. According to the affidavit, Broken Bow police say they pulled cameras and saw Amanda spitting in the food. She's charged with felony poisoning with intent to injure. A warrant has been issued for her arrest. You hear that as like a tale that wouldn't happen.
That's literally what I was just about to say. Like, people say, oh, we'll spit in your food or whatever, you know, but I've never seen that happen.
Jenica and her family filed a lawsuit against Amanda, Arby's, and affiliated restaurant groups, claiming extreme anxiety, emotional distress, and fear of infection. Jenica fears it'll impact her service industry work.
Personally, if I go out to eat and I see somebody with that big old thing on their face, I don't want them serving my food.
Broken Bow is a small town. Jenica says,
I can't kiss my daughter's face off anymore. That was like my thing. Just kiss your face off. You know what I mean? Just, I don't know. It's sad.
Fallout is tough for Jenica's mother-in-law, Patricia Dollarhide, to even talk about.
I'm sorry. When we were leaving today, my son was sitting at my table eating breakfast, and he wanted a kiss. Fine. But he could not get one. So you bet I'm angry. I see what it's doing to my grandchildren.
I can't kiss my daughter's face off anymore. That was like my thing. Just kiss your face off.
To my son. To my husband. I don't want to kiss my husband. He ate the food. Because he hasn't had an outbreak doesn't mean he don't have it.
The family attorney, Will Blocker, says he's floored that it appeared to be accepted behavior, as no other witness employees did anything.
Then they let it go all the way out the door to the point my client now has a communicable disease. That has to be cultured deeper than just Arby's Broken Bow, Oklahoma. Maybe it's Flynn Restaurant Group and all 300 different kinds of stores they own. I don't know, but we're going to find out.
To my son. To my husband. I don't want to kiss my husband. He ate the food.
Okay. Y'all pretty much got the gist of everything, but now we're going to have a discussion. Like I had said, I don't care how much I dislike someone. Like I said in the beginning of this video, if you've been following me for a while, or you know me in real life, you know I used to work in fast food. I used to work at the McDonald's up here in Sylvester, Georgia. And like I said, there are boatloads of people that used to come in there that at that time that I had went to school with that I necessarily didn't like, but I did not dislike them enough to spit in their food. Like, come on, man. Like, I may dislike them, but I respect them. I respect them enough not to spit in their food. I respect anybody enough not to fuck with their food, bro. And the fact sis had caught an STD after this and stuff like that, well, that's all the way tragic, bro. Like, ugh. And I remember I had looked it up and stuff like that. Yes, you can catch an STD. Yes, you can catch an STD and stuff like that with herpes. Yes, you can catch that STD through saliva. Like, I'll insert the Google definition and stuff up here and stuff like that. But yes, you can catch herpes and stuff like that through saliva. Like, that's documented, so you can catch through saliva. There's a certain kind of herpes you can catch through saliva. But, bro, and I'm glad they locked that bitch up, because not only just with this Jenica Church girl she did it to and stuff, she probably could have done it with some other customers. You never know. And the fact that they had beef and stuff like that before this says a lot. Like, I feel like on Jenica's end, she felt like the beef was squashed, but Amanda still had a chip on her shoulder for some reason. So, yeah, like Amanda just wouldn't let shit go. She just decided to get back at her for some reason. Like, but the way she got back at her, like, that shit is disgusting, bro. And also, obviously, you know, it's not good that Jenica got herpes and stuff like that, but well, this is going to come off kind of rude, but I don't mean anything by it. I'm just, you know, giving my opinion here. But it's kind of good in a way that Jenica got it and stuff like that, as opposed to her kids, because what if Jenica would have fed one of those sandwiches and stuff like that to her kids, and one of her kids that caught herpes, man, CPS be knocking on her door quick, fast, and in a hurry, ready to take her kids away. Like, you don't do nothing like that, bro. Like, I understand you got beef with this lady, but it's spitting her food and she contracted an STD because of it. Oh my God, I feel bad for her. Like, I hope she got that shit cleared up by now, but oh my God, I feel bad for her. Because like I said, like, when I used to work at McDonald's and stuff like that, there's a lot of people, like I said, that I went to school with, that I necessarily didn't care for, but I did not dislike them enough to spit in their food. I never fucked with no one's foods, drinks, or nothing. And I'm gonna give you an example. I remember, like, my sister, she can vouch for this too and stuff like that. I remember back in the day when I was a kid, me and my family, my mom, my dad, me and my sister, we used to go to Captain D's and stuff like that as a family almost every weekend. Every Friday, we always used to go to Captain D's and stuff like that every weekend. Sometimes we go Friday, sometimes we go Saturday. And one thing about my dad is super impatient. He was impatient back then, he's impatient now. And there are times he'd be talking shit to those people that's fixing our food, saying stuff like, hey, y'all need to hurry up, what's taking so long, blah, blah, blah. And them people just give us nasty looks and shit like that. And I'm thinking to myself, as a kid, and I'm thinking to myself now as a grown man, Dad, please shut your mouth. Please shut up. We barely can see back there as it is. The people spitting our food or put their finger in their booty and swirling around our drinks or some shit like that, and we get sick, I'm gonna be pissed off. Like, they say, like, do not fuck with the people that's messing with your food, because they could do something to it and you not know. Which that never happened, but I gave that as an example. Like, you don't mess with people that's messing with your food, you know. And also another example. I remember when I was working at McDonald's and stuff, like I worked at McDonald's from 2015 at the end of my junior year all the way through my senior year. I remember there were these athletes and stuff. They were like some freshman niggas and stuff like that. They knew me, but I didn't know them. They were some football players or whatever, and I remember they came to the restaurant and stuff like that. And, you know, they ordered their food, dined in at a table, whatever. And, you know, they were, you know, minding their business for the most part, but every time I walked by, because with my job at McDonald's and stuff like that, my main job was cleaning the lobby. Like, I was the maintenance worker, like I cleaned the lobby, and sometimes I worked in the kitchen, but on this particular day, I was working in the lobby. And, you know, they was minding their business for the most part, but there are times where I walk by and they'll say slick shit under their breath. Like, one of them, he'll call my name and stuff like that, and then when I turn around to acknowledge them, they'll all act like they didn't say shit, and they'll be doing that loud, ignorant, ghetto laughing. Like, bro, nothing's that funny for you to be laughing like a hyena now. Like, come on now. But it was nothing major. They didn't do anything major, like throw food at me or try to trip me when I walk by or something like that. Just petty shit. But I said all that to say this. I may have disliked those boys. Well, I can only speak for me. There's nothing personal on my end, but where was I at? Oh yeah. Like, I said all that to say this. They just did like petty shit and stuff like that, but nothing major, like, you know, trying to trip me when I walk by or throw food at me or anything like that. They may have did like that petty shit, but like I said, there was never anything personal on my end, but they disliked me for whatever reason and stuff. But even though they disliked me and stuff like that, I did not dislike them enough to spit in their food. Like, cause I don't fuck with people's food, period. Like, that right there is just disgusting. But with that Amanda Hendricks girl and stuff like that, I hope she stayed in jail a long ass time, bro, because fucking with people's food, that is disgusting, dude. Like, I don't know what transpired between her and Jennifer Church back in the day, but the fact you held on to that shit as long as you did and stuff like that to mess with that girl's food, like, you're disgusting. I wonder what happened. I really want to know what happened. Like, did she steal her man back in the day or some shit? Like, I don't know what the hell happened. But, yeah. And also, like, I remember I was reading that on the ATM_news page and stuff like that. I was reading the comments and stuff, and what somebody said was true. Like, you should go to a restaurant where your ops is working at, which I kind of agree with that somewhat. Like, you know, because, like, well, then again, no, I shouldn't say that, because, like, whether your ops works there or not and stuff like that shouldn't stop you from going to a restaurant that you love. Like, there's a lot of restaurants I went to that my ops worked at, but, you know, like, it is what it is. Like, I don't hold grudges. They don't hold grudges. You know, that was high school so long ago. Like, it doesn't matter. But, yeah, like, that should not stop you from going to a restaurant that you love. But even though even though Jenica, you know, there was no issue on Jenica's end, Amanda still had a chip on her shoulder and stuff like that. And I probably personally would not have went in that restaurant. I probably would have went somewhere else or something like that, because, yeah, like, I want to transpire back in the day, bro. I really want to, for her to spitting her food. And also, she gave herself away if you think about it, because bro, why the hell would you do that and then brag about it? Like, you don't know how to be sneaky. Like, it's one thing if you spit it and then kept it to yourself and then tell nobody, but to do it and then brag about it to somebody, like, you're stupid. You pretty much incriminated yourself, and it was on camera anyway, so yeah. But then again, whether or not, like, she did brag about it, so they still would have found out, because like I said, the cameras and all that stuff. So either way, she would have been caught. But all in all, yeah, that's just about it for this video. Like always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to insert my social media handles over here, as well as the description box down below. So feel free to add and follow me on those. And if you're watching this video and you work in fast food, do not fuck with people's food. That's disgusting. You got beef with someone, just keep it to yourself and do not fuck with their food. Okay? So until next time, peace out.